Welcome back to a brand new eBay auction of chocolate flavored nipple spread. No reservation. In this video, we're going to be talking about source maps, Webpack dev server, and also ES6 class properties. So let's tackle map sourcing first, or web source, or what? Source maps first. So in the last video, I don't know if you saw or not, but I did in the end of the video, I always go to what we're going to be doing next. Control save. So let's say that we reference a variable or a function that we haven't even declared yet. Over here, if we actually add an option, we get uncaught reference error, get dog is not defined. But the thing is that it's really hard to pinpoint where exactly this is located in our application. It does give us this link right here, the bundle.js, but if we click on it, it'll just give us this big thing right here, get dog. We see that console.log, but we don't know exactly where it's at still, right? So with source maps, it helps us. So let's actually do that. So in webpack config.js, we are going to add another property, and this property is called, dev tools. Okay, not tools, tool. And in here, we need to incorporate or add the tool that we want to use. But you're like, what tools are there to be used? Well, if you go to webpack.js or just webpack.js.org, go to documentation, go to configuration, and here we go, dev tools. And these are all the tools that we could use. And you might be like, what does it even do? Well, down below, it tells you exactly what we're going to be doing or what each one of them does. The one we're going to be using is cheap module eval source map. This is the tool that we want to use because this actually it explains down here what's happening, okay? But in layman's terms, it gives us where the error is being where the error is at in our application. So let's just paste that in. This is a tool. Now, if you go back in our bucket list, before we do that, we do have to rerun our webpack build. So let's run yarn build. Okay, now we have it. Awesome. Refresh that. Go to console. Okay, we add option one more time. We do get another thing, get dog is not defined, but check it out. It tells us it's at addOption.handle addOption in addOption.js, which it is. Actually, if we do click on this right here, the link, it will give us the console log right here. What line is it? 13, which it is on 13. So this just makes it easier to debug some of the bugs that we're going to get. All right. So another one we're going to do is dev server. With dev server, we are going to have to install a module. So let's get to that. Let me actually open up a third one. Yes, right here. We're going to do yarn add, and this is going to be literally called webpack-dev-server. And we're going to add it as a dev dependency, not an actual dependency. So back at package.json, we should see it right there, webpack dev server. And now we could configure our webpack config again. Actually, let's go back to package.json right here. Okay, if we're running webpack dev server, we don't have to do this -- watch again. The reason why is because with webpack is going to bundle all the JS. It's going to be, if you run this script right here, it's literally going to do a production mode, which means that it's going to run everything and build a bundle.js. With webpack dev server, it doesn't really do that. All it does is, yes, it does grab everything and tries to do it in bundle.js, but the thing is, it never writes everything out to bundle.js, which saves us some time. It doesn't have to do that. We keep on doing that. It just serves whatever it has from memory, okay? And you'll understand more than when we get into it. So let's just save that right now. In here, we need to give it another property called dev server. And it's going to be an object because dev server has a lot of things that you could add into. And we could explore that over here in dev tool, dev server right here. It has a lot of things that you could add. Look at all this stuff you could add. The one we're going to be focusing on is, where is that? Content base. Basically, it tells you where does you want to look at. It's almost the exact same thing as live server, what we've been using before. We're not going to be using that from here on out. We're going to be using this. But with live server, we had to tell it, hey, look at the public directory, because in there you're going to find the index.html. It's kind of the same thing here. We have to tell it, hey, look at the public, so that way you can find the index. So what we need to do here is put content. Actually, we could look at right here. So that way you know. Right here, look at this. And see, it tells us what to look for, basically, right? So content base. And then I'm gonna just literally copy this right here. Copy, paste, control save. Now we gotta run a script. Let's actually clean up right here. So we don't need Babel because we're not running Babel straight from the terminal. We're letting Webpack do that for us, and we don't need that other one for fun. We're going to add instead called dev server, and in here we're going to run the command webpack -dev -server, just like so. Control save. Okay, now let me actually get rid of the first node, which is our live server. We're not going to be doing that no more. I'm gonna control C out of this. Yes, I do want to terminate it. Ooh, yes. Now what we're going to do is yarn run dev -server. And you see a lot of the same things you saw later on. You already know what it's doing right here, but this is new right here. It's just telling us, hey, a project is running. It gives us a little bit more information. Okay. So if we actually refresh this, we should still see our application add option. Oh, let's get rid of this. Control save. And let's add option. Yeah. Okay. We get an error. Awesome. We get, everything seems to be working just fine. But the thing is, check this out. The thing with dev server is that, let me go right here. Network is not running from this bundle.js no more. Like I said, it's running from memory. So check it out. If I actually delete this, move to recycling bin, delete permanently, yes. And as you can see, I don't have a bundle.js no more. So in here, let's refresh the page. Okay, and check this out. We still get a bundle.js from the network. We still get it, okay? And if you add options, it'll still do everything. I could even close out of this. I could go in here. Let's actually run it one more time, so that way you yarn run dev server. Let's click on it, so that way it'll control click. It'll open up, and you can see that, hey, everything is running just fine. Refreshing, add option, enter an actual string. And guess what? In network, we have a bundle.js. Now, why is this happening? Well, like I said, it's running from memory. As you can see, we still don't have a bundle.js here because we're not in production mode no more. We're just doing a dev server. We don't need it to write it out, which saves us some time. That's the benefits of doing a dev server. It's just running everything from memory, which is way faster than the first time. All right. So we got our source mapping. We got our dev server. Now it's time to actually talk about ES6 property classes or class properties. Now with class properties, it's kind of a difficult concept to wrap your head around. So I'm gonna tell you why we're gonna incorporate it. It's because, well, there's a lot of reasons. There's actually pretty good reasons to incorporate this. So let's actually look at Babel for right now. Okay. So here's the property we're going to be, or the plugin we're going to be using. It's called proposal class properties. Now with this, the reason why we incorporate it is because of this right here. This constructor gets super annoying after a while because with the constructor, you always have to add configure this dot bind. You always have to bind it to the proper method that you want to do. Now with class properties, we're going to actually delete this constructor and just run it as is, because it helps us do this binding by itself, and it has a lot of more functions to it. It's just that I really do not want to get into that stuff right now, but you'll see the advantage once we start writing this kind of stuff. So with this plugin, we're not gonna need to have this constructor anymore. We're not gonna have to have this dot state or anything like that. What we are going to do is above, we could just literally call out what we want, like say we want state, like that. It's still going to equal an object, and we want error to be undefined. So copy this, error to be undefined. And we need to set this equal state equals an object to error equals undefined. Okay. Now we could literally get rid of this and control save that. Now if we go to bucket list the bucket list, if we refresh, inspect what's going on here. Right. I still haven't even added the plugin yet. So I'm gonna leave it as this. We get an error doing this, right? But this will be so much simpler than doing all this stuff, and you'll see in a bit. So in webpack.config, or actually not even webpack, it's Babel that we need to be running. So in Babel.rc down below, it'll give us an installation. So we just need to, copy this if you want to, which I am. I need to open up my terminal. Go here, and we're going to do just this, add Babel this. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to do yarn add paste dash dev. Now we go to package.json. We should see it. Here it is right here. And all we need to do is literally call in plugins. So I'm just copy this line right here, go to Babel, and right here, and create a new one right there. Bam. Just like so. Now get rid of this. Now let's go to add option, bucket list. And you see our bucket list re-rendered itself because it refreshed because we changed some stuff. And now everything is working. Now, where do we add that right here in our add option? So if I add an option, we still get an error like we should. If I add some options, we still get that option added. Or if I remove, we still have that removed. So it's still working. Now, another great benefit is that this handle, we don't have to keep on rebinding this to the actual method that we want it to bind. It takes care of that on its own by actually doing a function error. Arrow function, as you can see up here. It just makes an arrow function, and this is binded to the instance of the class, which is add option. So let's actually get rid of all this and just make handle add option equal to an arrow function. Control save. It just refreshed as you saw. Now if I remove, I should still see removed. Add option, yes, we get the error. If I add an option, I still get to add an option. Now with this arrow function, we never have to worry about breaking the this binding because it's always binded to the instance of the class. So if you don't know that much about instances and all that stuff, you do need to look up classes or object-oriented programming, I guess. And just look that stuff up. It gets simpler if you understand what I'm talking about. But like I said, this is not a object-oriented video. It's for React, so I'm not gonna go over that stuff. Just know that this right here is so much simpler than creating a constructor, making it a super prop, and then rebinding this to the actual method and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about any of that no more. So we're gonna actually redo this again, but we have two class components, this one and bucket list add. So on this one, like I said, all we need to do is set state equal to an object, and the object is going to be, I'm just copy this, copy, paste, boom. Oh, we get an error. Sorry about that. The reason why is because we don't know what props is, or this class doesn't know what prop is. We haven't defined it as a constructor or super. You need to, for this, for actually setting a state to a predefined options, you have to set it right here, okay? But we're not gonna do that. I'm just leave it as an empty array. Like I said, if you do want to have those predefined options, you could have it right there, or you could literally just keep it in the constructor and the super and passing it down right here in options if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that. So let's actually go right here. We can actually get rid of all this now. We don't need it. We don't need it no more, because all we need to do is, you could leave compound. All right, so let's actually go down here. It's going to equal to an arrow function, just like that. I'm just copy this so that way it's way faster. Right here, equal to paste. Another one right here, paste, equal. Another one right here, equal, paste. And that is it. If you control save, we should still see our application run. What should I do? ASD, okay. What should I do? I'm gonna do it until I get Devil's Den. Devil's Den, all right. If we remove one, we remove one. If we could add one, read more books. Yes, I do need to read more books. Red light district. Yep. All right. We could do all that stuff. We could still do all that stuff. But the reason why we added the this plugin, proposal class properties, is because we don't have to worry about resetting the state to its or adding constructors to reset the binding to the actual method. And this just looks much more simpler than doing all that fancy stuff. Now, I did say that this is going to be more simpler in the previous, like the first couple of videos. I think I did say in some point, I did say that we're gonna remove this dot bind, because that's super annoying, and this is the way you would do it. Now, don't worry, once you build the application and it actually builds it through Webpack and through Babel and all that stuff, this will work with any other modern browser, okay? So don't worry about it. This just works. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. Thank you again for watching this video. I do plan on making a boiler template for React with Webpack and Babel. It's going to be the same thing we have here, but we're not going to have any of these components or anything like that. It's just a boilerplate, a template. What are those called? Boiler templates, or boiler, I don't even know. But you know what I'm talking about. So that way, if you want to build a React and you want to use my template, you can use it. Feel free to add on to this. Like I said, we went through a lot of presets and plugins. You can actually do plugins right here. Plugins. And then it'll give you all the plugins that you probably need or want in this thing. There's experimental meaning that is not yet fully bulletproof yet. They're still doing experiments with it, obviously. So anyways, so yeah, just play around with these stuff, get comfortable. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard with Babel. It really isn't hard at all. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I already said it, I know, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.